How you doing, guys? This is Eric from RuleTheWasteland.com. This is part 5 of an interview I did with author David the Good, who wrote Grow or Die and Compost Everything. You can find those through links in the description box below this video, as well as his website, thesurvivalgardener.com, and also links to the previous parts of this interview. So enjoy, and thanks for watching. So your two main books right now are the Good Guide to Extreme Composting,
right,
and Grow or Die,
right,
Gardening When It Counts. And then you have 3 other books, which is the Florida Food Forest,
right,
and
Totally Crazy Easy Florida Gardening.
And then there was a 5th one too, right?
I have a little Survival Gardener's Guide to Growing Tobacco, which is just a short booklet.
A pamphlet.
I'm a big fan of tobacco, particularly as a barter and trade.
Right.
You know.
And you're a cigar smoker too.
I'm a cigar smoker. Yep.
So you're like, if I'm going to be growing my own food, why give up the cigars too?
Right, exactly.
When the apocalypse happens.
I still can't roll a good cigar.
I've never tried.
It is just, it's either too tight or too loose.
I think you need like a Cuban girl sty.
That's
like
exactly. I need a Cuban girl.
Right.
Yeah. I'll talk to my wife about that. Maybe I could take on a second.
Right.
Yeah. No, the cigars are really a pain to write, but the thing that I did find is that I've grown tobacco for about a decade, and it's just like a little bit of a tricky crop because it's got a couple of issues with it. So I thought I'm just going to put all my knowledge on growing tobacco this far into a little booklet that you can read in, half an hour for $2, and then you can spare yourself all the pain of trying to figure this stuff out. And I talk about how to cure it and how to make pipe tobacco, how to make like inhalable snuff, powdered snuff, and
that's pretty intense.
Smoking the pipe tobacco, like I put it in a smoker to give it that like English pipe tobacco flavor as a shortcut. Just different things like that.
That's cool.
This is kind of fun.
That's interesting. So from these experiences with the 5 books, what's been the most surprising thing to you, or that you were least prepared for in terms of like the writing and publishing, the whole process, entrepreneurial? Was it pretty much like you expected, or was it way different?
Well, it's interesting. I was surprised that people, I knew that people liked what I was saying. I would give gardening talks and people would show up from a couple of hours away to come see me. And I'm like, just because they read the blog. And I get recognized sometimes when I go to botanical gardens and people come over. And I went down to Miami and a guy came over and, got his picture taken with me. And I was like, this is the greatest thing, like he was so encouraged that I had done this thing. But, you write a book and you just kind of throw it out there and you think, I'm not all that well known, But that first little create your own Florida food forest, so like it's a niche, that's a tiny little niche, it's just Florida, and it's just food forest, so it's like this tiny little slice.
Yeah, a niche within a niche.
Right, and then people started buying it, and it actually did okay, and that's kind of cool. So when the Compost Everything book came out, and then it was a bestseller.
Right.
I'm like, it's at the top of the gardening section.
Yeah.
I'm at the top of Amazon. And I went, I can't, this is such a crazy thing to see. It sold 220 copies, like, in the first... Well, it was like 300 copies the first month.
Nice.
Which for a tiny little...
Well, that's more than most, probably 75 or 80% of people ever sell of any book that, publish.
Yeah.
Most books just don't sell.
Most nonfiction books don't sell.
Yeah.
And then since then it's gone on, it's gone to like 10 times that in sales since it came out in May of last year. So it's actually done quite well for it's also a niche book. It's on composting.
Extremely niche.
But I wanted people to quit worrying about all the rules and just throw it down and do it. And so then I said, I'm just, as a gift to my Florida gardening writers, I have a bunch of information and data I've gathered on Florida gardening. So I'll do Totally Crazy Easy Florida Gardening, the guide to growing, tons of food for very little work in the Sunshine State. It's like this great big title.
Right.
And
it's like long.
I got pictures of, like massive piles of sweet potatoes and stuff that I've been posting on the blog. I'm like, I'm going to tell people how to grow a lot of food without working at it, but it's just for Florida because I love Florida and it's my home state and I grew up here and I wanted Florida garden.
All right, so I'm an amateur filmmaker and my camera shut off, so we took the opportunity to get some refreshments. But what we were talking about right when it cut off was you said you'd had basically a 5-book deal with Castalia House once you got into the start. You're like, hey, I can write and I like writing. I've got a lot of stuff up here from 30 years of gardening. So you have a 5-book deal, and you said you're planning on one about every 6 months.
Right. Okay. And I'm thinking that the next book will probably be tactical gardening, which is how to hide your plants in the woods, how to do guerrilla gardening. What kind of plants could you grow in plain sight? Because most people would walk around my yard and they would say, it doesn't look like there's anything to eat here.
Right.
There's food everywhere.
I actually saw I mean, you could think of like militarily tactical, but there's also was a case actually down somewhere in South Florida where they had ordinances against growing vegetables or whatever in their front yard, but then they got away with because a lot of these, like you said, they just look like a shrub, or this one that used to was a caffeine. You know, you can make caffeine tea out of the leaves, or a lot of these little just like different types of pomegranates,
random weird berries and stuff.
Right,
People
like
don't
no
even
one's
know
gonna
it's
look
food.
like what is this? You said what this was already, right?
It's gumi berry. Yeah,
Right.
it's Japanese.
But you could have like
nitrogen-fixing
these
berry.
all across the front of your lawn. No one's gonna think you're
nobody
growing
would know.
vegetables.
Nobody would know.
And
Yeah.
most of the time, that plants like this aren't even technically against the ordinances. It's they don't want you to have like a tilled, thing with eggplants coming out of it or whatever. But
yeah, your rows of corn by your sidewalk. Yeah.
Which I've never had a problem with that. I don't
think
know
it's
why
awesome.
people do. I also think it's awesome. But some neighborhoods want that less rustic aesthetic, I guess.
Right. Yeah,
little less
they're the ones that
bucolic.
are going to die first.
Right, exactly. Then you have extra yards where you can plant in.
So,
Go ahead.
So that was the idea. Next, we also talked about doing a book on gardening with homeschoolers, which I got a lot of interest in.
Yeah, because homeschooling's gotten big over the last few years with how just totalitarian the school system has in general. People, and just with Common Core and all that stuff, like people would rather just have a more direct involvement.
I'm a big fan of homeschooling. I started. I was going to have to repeat kindergarten, so my parents pulled me out.
And I told you I was homeschooled too.
Yeah.
High five. And that's why I tell people when I'm weird, when they find I'm weird, like, I was homeschooled. So I know.
I was homeschooled. You can't even understand me.
Right. I know all. That's why I know all the Bible trivia.
Right. I got every bit.
I got it cold. So that's awesome. So every 6 months or so, we hopefully can expect a book from you guys.
Right.
Awesome.
And that'll be coming. I'm going to do another little booklet on like the Survival Gardener's Guide to Growing Caffeine. I think that would be fun to do.
And so all the different plants that have it.
Right.
Because you said you have a little coffee growing out back. You've got this other plant that apparently has caffeine in it, but it's not. It's like a tea, so you can make tea out of it, I guess.
Right. It's a holly, like yerba mate.
Right.
And the wind's coming through now.
Yeah. I think my feeble mic will probably be okay. But
I grow the Yaupon holly, which is it's a cousin of the yerba mate. Yerba mate is a holly in South America.
Okay.
It's a very popular, earthy green tea with a lot of caffeine in it. And this Yaupon holly grows here through up to Tennessee in the south.
Wow. So it's got a big range.
Big range, and it's unrecognizable.
Right.
Who knows what it is? No, that's my cup of caffeine for when the zombies are coming.
Right. Yeah, when you have plants like this, no one's going to even think to like steal, from your garden or whatever. They won't even know it's a garden.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? So
they'll rip off your watermelons. They'll steal your chickens. They wouldn't know your Mexican tree spinach, African yam, jelly palm. They would have no idea what those
tree collards or whatever. Like they're not gonna know what that is.
No.
Yeah. So that's actually good too, because I remember there's one website called SHTF School or something where the guy was from.
Yes.
Where was he from? Like Sarajevo or something. Somewhere in Yugoslavia that the city was actually like under siege for like a year, and that would be like a tactical gardening type situation. Because not only do you have to garden in more of an urban situation, you have to worry about people stealing it and stuff like that.
Right.
So.
It's scary.
Yeah. That stuff can happen.
Like scary
and this
stuff.
was like modern history. This guy's young. He's alive. You know what I mean? Like this wasn't like World War II type stuff.
No, and the funny thing is that when you tell people that you're prepping or you're into, they'll be like, oh, you're one of those crazy doomsday preppers, survivalists, whatever. They are completely ignorant of the entire breadth of human history.
Right.
How many displacements? I mean, even if you discarded all and you only ever read the Bible, look at how many times, Israel is displaced.
Right.
They're first Babylon, Assyria, the Midianites, the Philistines, there's all these, Egypt, there's all these different things. People are always getting overrun
and those are like
run
major
around.
events. Like you don't even have to have something like that happen for it to be worthwhile to have a basic level of preparedness. I mean, we've had blizzards this past few weeks. There's hurricanes. There's different type of economic job loss even, and that's what I say in a lot of my videos. So much of it is more the minor stuff even, you know what I mean? Because I think too many people look at it and say it's either I'm going to be a full-blown doomsday prepper or I'm just not going to even have a day's worth of food in my house. It's like you don't have to choose one or the other.
No.
You can have just a normal, plant some stuff in your house around your property that grows naturally with no work, get food off it, store a few days or a few weeks worth of water, and be way more better off. Because most people they would never know that I was into preparedness if I didn't tell them.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like they go there and I'm like Bert Gummer from Tremors or something, where I'm fully locked and loaded all the time with like a bunker and all that stuff.
Reba
like,
McEntire.
Right, like that'd be fun, but that's you don't have to do that to be way more prepared than that. Just by having like being self-sufficient or able to take care of yourself for even a few weeks puts you so far ahead of the curve.
And a lot of it is I'm a gardener because I'm an entrepreneur,
right?
In ways, and I'm a cheapskate. I don't want to pay somebody. I don't want to pay somebody to pick spinach 2,000 miles away and then charge me $3 for a third of a pound of it.
Right.
You know, in a little baggie, when I could get $1 pack of seeds scattered across, you know, a pot this big in the backyard and be reaping organic spinach for the next 3 months.
Right.
You know, for $1.
Right.
I mean, it just doesn't.
And not get E. coli either.
Right. You know, it's a listeria. I mean, I don't want that.
So how is the that entrepreneurial spirit factored into like the whole writing?
Well,
It's a different landscape now than it was, you know, 20 years ago in terms of like self-publishing. And stuff.
It's much better now. This is a great time for publishing because it's all getting blown to pieces. Now, I say that at the same time that the literacy rates are dropping and there are less readers.
Right.
But for an independent person, if you're a good writer and you can develop a following, it's a good time to be a writer.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't say go into writing if you want to get rich, but
it's always been hard to get rich with
very satisfying.
It's always been hard to get rich. But now you have the situation where it's sort of like the same with TV. Like, I'm not getting rich off doing this stuff online, but before, if you couldn't get an actual TV slot, there was that high threshold, like no one would see your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So even if you just want to get your stuff out there, pay for the cost, make a little bit extra money, that's possible, whereas before it never was.
2 months ago, 2 of my books were in the top 2 slots in the gardening and horticulture section of Amazon.
Right.
And I'm like,
you said
who am I?
Within the first year of each, or first 3 or 4 months of each one, sold thousands of copies. So.
Right. And you look and go, okay, I look at my, you know, here's the top gardening book of all time, Square Foot Gardening.
Right.
Over 2 million copies sold.
Impressive.
That's huge. He took gardening, he made it really easy, he engineered a system, and
the idea went viral to some extent.
And he's overflowing with enthusiasm in his books.
Right.
I mean, you read it and you're like, wow, this guy just loves what he's doing and he's put this cool stuff together.
Well, that's one of the good things about your books, too, is that comes across.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
it's really
you've got
fun.
the jokes in there. It's fun. It's not some dry, like, well, then you got this and this. And
you plant them 4 inches apart,
right.
1 inch.
Watch out for this.
Check your local ordinances before you plant yams.
Yeah, exactly.
Forget that.
Yeah, forget ordinances.
So I look at it and go, oh yeah, some of these guys, that's the old legacy publishing model.
Right.
How much did he actually make off it? I'm sure he made great money off it, but I'm sure.
How much would you have made if you sold 2 million books?
I would
or
be,
2 million books?
Yeah, right.
I mean, because now you're talking
yacht
about
gardening.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they used to be they would give you they would give you like some upfront money, and then you wouldn't actually make anything for a while unless it got above a threshold. Whereas now you're getting money from like book 1. You know, you're getting a significant portion of the proceeds. So if you had 2 million books sold, it'd be like $10 million or something, somewhere between like $4 and $12 million.
Yeah, and Castalia House, the reason that they're such a sharp publisher, one of the reasons is that they reimburse their authors well. I sell more with working with them as a small, fast, smart, independent publisher than I do self-publishing.
And isn't that the best setup where you have both people are making more than they would have without each other? Like
absolutely.
That's going to succeed.
It's
it has to.
mutual
How could it not?
success, right?
Exactly. Where the other model was almost parasitical. Not even parasitical, but like you couldn't sell without them, but they couldn't make money without you, and you know what I mean? So it was very combative almost. Like adversarial, I guess is the word that I would use. The previous model was really adversarial. Now it's more symbiotic. I
don't want to give the author that much money.
You're always fighting back and forth for, like you needed them when you were nobody, and then they were trying to take as much from you as they could when you actually did anything.
Right, and then you get successful and they own your rights, and then they collapse and their rights are owned by somebody else. And
making stupid movies off your book that you were in. So you think we'll ever see a Grow or Die movie?
Oh, man, I actually did a 1-hour film called Compost Everything, the movie.
The movie?
Right, Compost Everything, the movie.
I was making a joke.
No, it's coming out. It's ridiculous.
It hasn't come out yet?
No, it's coming out in 3 mons
awesome.
with Marjorie Wildcraft.
Yeah.
Here, Grow Your Own Groceries. She's got the Homegrown Food Summit, which is coming up, I believe, in April. And she asked for a video. And last year I participated in it. and it was fun, but I did a pretty straightforward 1-hour video, which is, it's 13 lessons, tips, and tricks for homesteading an acre.
Yeah.
I sell the video off the website now for $5.
Awesome.
And I get a few downloads every month because people can't believe like you can do this kind of stuff on an acre. You know, it's kind of cool. But I played it pretty straight. There's a few jokes in it, but I talk about the dangerous manure, and I talk about this. I talk about
stuff.
all these sort of things. With the Compost Everything the movie, I mean, it starts out with like a big shot of a landfill, and then it says a Dino De Laurentiis film, and I was like, and then it's crossed out.
The
and
Toxic Avenger.
It's just nonsense right from the beginning. But I packed a bunch of stuff on like how to make fish emulsion and all that kind of stuff into a lot of the stuff I discussed in the book is in the movie, but there's a lot of jokes and stuff in it too. I mean, there's a scene where I'm just like
jokes.
I'm just like throwing clumpy rotten milk into a pit. I'm like, you can compost this, you know. I'm just imagining like the master gardener
like cringing in horror. You're like, no, you can't.
No,
you can't. No. It says in the book you can't compost meat and dairy. No. Give me the. Yeah, you're just like double fisted.
There's like
milk
a slow motion 90s style music video in the middle where it's all in sepia tone.
Dumping lumpy milk.
It's just.
That's ridiculous. I'm gonna check this thing. I want to make sure that we didn't cut out on. All right, we're still good. I got paranoid.
Yeah, you gotta have like a second beer.
Right, yeah.
It just appears.
Yeah, exactly. I have 2 beers and then like 3. And then 4. Every time I come back, I have more beers. And you have more cigars.
Allahu Akbar.
Beers. Like, a suicide drinker.
The suicide party is here.
Drink till I'm dead. But you mentioned Marjorie Wildcraft. What other? Because she has a YouTube channel. She has books and everything.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else on YouTube that you follow either for gardening or for preparedness or anything like that? YouTube or just websites in general?
I follow Mart Hale. He's done the most bizarre, interesting aquaponics projects and things. I was actually just talking to him this morning. He was trying to come up with a better mosquito netting for some sort of a system that he was building. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I mean, you know.
Right.
So Mart Hale, if you look him up, he's good.
Okay.
I watch, I'm subscribed to Paul Wheaton's channel, and Paul Wheaton's actually subscribed to my channel. Jack Spurko is subscribed to my channel. You know,
good
like,
stuff.
Hey Jack, if you're watching.
I got Cutlery Lover. I think he's the big one on the subscribers.
Hey, all right.
350,000 subscribers.
Good work. And,
Although I need to go through and see, because sometimes you find people like, wow, they're subscribed.
I can't
to my
believe
channel.
they're paying attention to me.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm thrilled, and I have like 25,000 subscribers now.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
You've got 10 times my subscribers.
For now, we'll get you up there. But it's a little harder to go through and look at them all.
Yeah, it is. I used to write everybody a thank you when they subscribed, and then I realized I could spend all day.
Yeah, exactly.
I got 222 subscribers in the last like 3 weeks. I'm like,
that's awesome.
Whoa.
That's like 10% increase. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, let's see. I subscribe to John Kohler.
Yeah, Grow Your Green.
Hey, it's John Kohler,
so
growingyourgreens.com.
John Kohler, growingyourgreens.com.
You're not going to believe what we have right here. You know what this is? This is a big old root, you know.
It's contagious.
By the way, the police raided my house.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, what?
He's growing okra in his bathtub.
I mean, that's awesome.
It is awesome.
But
I mean, it's terrible that they did that. But
I look at John Kohler as being like the people's gardener on
yeah.
YouTube.
Right.
And he's my target.
Like, that's what you want to get.
I pick somebody that's way over. Like,
he's got hundreds of thousands of subscribers, maybe 1 million subscribers now or something.
I think he's got
over 1 million.
I think he's got 250,000.
I bet it's more than that now.
You think so? Yeah. I mean,
that was last I checked.
He's something else.
Yeah.
And so I like to look at somebody that with all that energy and go, yeah. I don't have quite that energy. I'm a little too INTJ.
Right.
You know.
He puts those videos out, like 30-minute videos, like twice a day. If like you could talk about like the cuttings off the back of a carrot for like 20 minutes or something.
I can't even talk that long.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
But yeah, so I follow him and I enjoy him. I like his energy, and you know, I like to look at people like, you know, Mel Bartholomew, who wrote Square Foot Gardening, and saying there's no reason why I won't be him one day.
Right.
You know, I got years.
Exactly.
You know, and
you're off to a good start.
And 2 bestsellers in 1 year.
Exactly.
I mean, that's pretty awesome.
That is awesome. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Cool. And you watch my channel, of course.
I watch your channel.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So of all the YouTube preppers, as I mentioned earlier, who has the best hair? Is there any doubt in your mind?
Honestly, yeah.
But between me and Milo Yiannopoulos, who's not a prepper, but he's a journalist, that'd be a closer battle. Battle of the hair.
It's a closer battle, but I think you're less likely to flame out at some point.
And end up dead in a hotel bathroom, dead and naked. Or a hotel, would it be a hotel? Where would he end up?
Trump Tower.
Yeah, bathroom, dead in the bathroom in Trump Tower, dead and naked. Hair perfectly coiffed. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, he'd do one last tweet from beyond. Right. What a beautiful corpse.
Right, exactly. You ever seen a corpse like this? Well, that's awesome. So where can people find your stuff? TheSurvivalGardener.com.
TheSurvivalGardener.com, and on YouTube, I'm David the Good.
David the Good.
And on Twitter, I'm David T. Good.
The Paranoid Gardener or something now, right?
I changed it to Paranoid Gardener for 2 days. It was actually, I did that as a joke. I was Real Gardener
you
Trump.
You put like the Illuminati thing
a couple of weeks ago, I was Real Gardener Trump for a week, or a couple of days, where I just kept imitating.
Growing America Great Again.
Yeah, I did. Make America
grow again. Or make America grow again. There's all sorts of things you can do.
I had all these like love radishes, lots of pep, great energy,
Low energy, big loser. Yeah, exactly.
I was Paranoid Gardener just for fun. I did a couple of tweets that were like, heard the banana tree outside the window last night. I could hear it breathing. They don't have lungs,
That's what I was going to ask you too, is I saw you the banana plants over there. Is there a stage, I mean, I've heard of it, but like in between the rock hard green banana and the really like just totally rotten black banana where you can actually eat it?
Because
every time I get bananas, I'm like, I'm gonna buy this banana. I'll eat it tomorrow morning, and it's like rock hard green. And then tomorrow morning, it looks like Coco the gorilla's finger.
The only way is with chemicals and gas. That's the only way to make a banana exactly right.
You have to get the special bags that absorb the gases. And then
exactly.
You set a timer. Wake up at 4:30 in the morning to eat the perfectly ripe banana.
One of our projects was actually a nitrogen tank out back for the bananas, just specifically for that.
For that reason. So it's not just me.
No, we've got a banana variety called Orinoco, which is when it's younger, like it's very good, like as a plantain type cooking banana.
Oh yeah, I love the fried plantains.
And then suddenly they go to mush.
Cuban girl for those too.
Yeah.
Fried plantains.
Fried plantains. Yeah, if I was going to expatriate, Cuba might not be too
it's
bad.
Looking better,
it's looking better.
It's getting better.
There's a lot less like horrors and
right,
stuff.
Yeah, some old cars. Yeah.
There's fewer nukes.
Right, yeah, it's not nearly as bad. Well, I appreciate you letting me come out here and interview you.
It was great. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you guys check out the YouTube channel, the website. The books will be on Amazon. Links are in the description box below. Thanks for watching, guys.